like to call to order the Monday, April 8th regular council meeting, and if you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we begin to look to preparing our 2014 budget, we ask you, Heavenly Father, to open our minds, giving us clarity in every thought, word, and action we take. As we move through this process, we ask for your continual guidance, resources to continue and to maintain our stable financial environment, and to ensure we meet the needs of our community. We reach out in prayer to our Goodyear families who are experiencing the loss of loved ones and ask for your blanket of comfort to be placed over them. We ask you, Lord, to shield and protect our police and fire from harm, giving them each alertness, energy, and stamina as they face the mental and physical challenging situation. And shield our men and women in the military as they face the many challenges of uncertainty serving throughout our world. In your name, amen. Okay, again, as I look around the dais, we're here, except Councilman Campbell. Are you on the phone?
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
All right, welcome. Thank you for being at the regular session. I'm going to start this evening with a proclamation that I need to read, and I had some information. Let me see if I can find it. Well, we'll just read it. That was asked for us from the Conference of Mayors on a Mayor's Day of Recognition of National Services. And we have quite a number, into the around the thousands of members of our Arizona communities that work in these different national services. And so they asked us to make sure that we talked about April 9th, 2013. So we're doing a recognition and a proclamation. So I'll read the proclamation now. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges, and whereas the nation's mayors are increasingly tuning to the national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet the city needs, and whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps address the most pressing challenges facing our cities and nation, from educating students for the jobs of the 21st century and supporting veterans and military families to preserving the environment and helping communities recover from natural disasters. Whereas the National Service expands economic opportunity by creating sustainable, resilient communities, providing education, career skills, and leadership abilities for those who serve. And whereas the National Service participants serve in more than 70,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic and neighborhood and faith-based organizations that are so vital to our economic and social well-being. And whereas National Services participants increase the impact of the organizations as they serve with, both with their direct service and by recruiting and manage millions of additional volunteers. And whereas the National Service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on tax dollars. Whereas AmeriCorps members and Senior Corps volunteers demonstrate commitment, dedication, patriotism by making an intensive commitment to service, a commitment that remains with them in their future endeavors. The Corporation of the National and Community Services shares priority with the mayors nationwide to engage citizens, to improve lives, to strengthen communities, and is joining with mayors across the country to support Mayor's Day of Recognition for the National Service on April 9, 2013. Now therefore be it that I, Georgia Lord, Mayor of the City of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby proclaim April 9, 2013 as National Service Recognition Day and encourage residents to recognize the positive impact of the national services in our city, to thank those who serve, and to find ways to get back to their communities. Given under my hand in these free United States in the City of Goodyear on the 8th day of April, 2013, and to which I have caused the seal of the City of Goodyear to be affixed, and I have made this proclamation public. Thank you. Okay, now is the time for citizens who would like to address the city council on any non-agenda item. Do we have anybody?
No, Mayor.
All right, thank you. So let's go right to the consent agenda. But is there anybody in the audience that wanted to speak? All right, then we'll go on to that consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read the consent agenda by title only?
Item 6.1, approve draft minutes from a special meeting 1 and special meeting 2 held on March 18th, 2013, and a regular meeting and special meeting held on March 25th, 2013. Item 6.2, adopt resolution 13-1544, authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Goodyear and Maricopa County for animal care and control services.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public wish to remove an item from this consent agenda? All right, with that, does council wish to remove an item? All right. Could I please have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stipp and a second by Councilman Barber. I was looking at Jennifer and Barber. So roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Osborne,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Mayor Lord,
Aye.
passes 7-0.
Okay, let's go on to the business then. We will now, on 7.1, we will consider adopting the 2013-2016 City Strategic Action Plan, and Kim Bradford to present.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Council. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you this evening. I'm very excited to be here before you with Resolution 13-1543, adopting the City's Strategic Action Plan for 2013 to 2016. My presentation this evening is going to be a high-level overview of the process that we've undertaken to establish this plan, a review of the vision, the strategic priorities that have been established, and the goals that we've identified. A strategic plan is vitally important to communities as it establishes a unified direction for our city, and it provides transparency and accountability to our citizens about the goals that we are setting and the results that we're achieving. As you know, a city provides certain core services to the community, such as public safety, keeping our streets and our water clean and safe, and programs that allow our citizens to enjoy a great quality of life. Beyond these core services, we also have strategic initiatives that we focus on in order to in order to grow our sustainable community. So looking at this chart, we have kind of an 80-20 model that we follow, where the 80% represents the core services that we provide to the citizens that take up about 80% of our time. That leaves us with about 20% to focus on our strategic initiatives, which is where the importance of this strategic plan comes into play. That's really a partnership between the council vision and priorities, and then also the staff resources that we have. Notice that for our document, we call it a strategic action plan. This plan is focused on identifying and updating key actions that we've identified for a 3-year time frame that really focus on moving us forward toward the goals that we've identified. It's very important to note that in this document, it's not intended to reflect all the actions that we undertake on a day-to-day basis that really create this vision for our city. If we reflected all of that, obviously the document would be very thick. So what we're doing is really focusing on those strategic initiatives that are really the priorities that move us forward. Many of the items that are in this plan can be undertaken and move forward with the resources that we have established today. However, as you look through the document and you note the status on some of those items, you'll see that some of them do require additional resources, whether it's staff, programming, consultants, things like that. So what staff is doing is they've noted that in the document, any items that require additional resources, and then we've linked that to our budget planning process. And so as our departments have submitted supplemental requests, we have looked at those in the context of the strategic action plan, the resources that are available, and we'll be bringing that forward to you and linking those together as we discuss next year's budget. Just an item of note that if we do have items in the document that through the budget development process are not identified to have resources next fiscal year, they will remain in the document at this time, and then when we review this again and update our goals and priorities, we will again be able to revisit that and kind of define priorities. So as we look forward, we'll determine what those priorities are. So just a real quick overview of how we've gotten to where we are today. As you recall, back in June 2011, the council had a strategic planning retreat, and you came up with the vision for the city, and then also out of that developed the 4 strategic focus areas, which we'll cover in this presentation. Also at that retreat, you brainstormed a lot of different ideas of what would move the city forward towards this vision, and so we took all that information as far as your ideas. We worked with the staff. We worked with the council at subsequent retreats to really kind of hone in on what we could accomplish over the next 3 years. Back in November, you'll recall we also had another retreat where we dedicated a half-day session where we really went through in depth all the strategic focus areas. We validated the vision. We wordsmithed purpose statements for each of those strategic focus areas and identified goals and went through all the actions. So that was about 4 hours that we spent. We also had a work session back on March 18th, reviewing that final draft of the plan, make some last-minute refinements that brought us to where we are today. I just want to recognize all the staff time and the council involvement and feedback, and really appreciate getting us to where we are today at adoption. So just real quickly, our vision for the city is that the city of Goodyear will be a great place to live, work, and raise a family, a city with healthy lifestyles and a commitment to the environment, a growing community that provides quality opportunities and lifestyles. We will also be known as a destination for regional shopping, for higher education that's designed to meet our workforce needs, a place for diverse job opportunities and inventory of industries, an incubator for entrepreneurs, and also a hub for arts and culture in the West Valley. And on the bottom, underneath that vision, you'll see those 4 strategic focus areas that really kind of support the vision, and so we'll go through those quickly. I just want to note that as we go through the 4 focus areas, this presentation will really just highlight the purpose statement and then the high-level goals that have been established. The council has the full document with all those action items and status that are associated. So if you have any questions or comments on that, please feel free to bring those up. And the document is also posted online for the public if they want to review in depth all those action items. So our first strategic priority area is fiscal and resource management. And our purpose statement here is that the City of Goodyear will implement innovative and responsible policies and business practices to effectively manage our fiscal and human resources. The city will maintain a stable financial environment that's transparent and also maintains an outstanding quality of life for our citizens. Our business practices will be efficient, business-friendly, and ensure exceptional customer service to our stakeholders and our citizens. So you'll see here we have 5 high-level goals under this strategic focus area: demonstrating fiscal responsibility through establishing financial policies and budgeting practices that accomplish our highest priorities and also demonstrate results; reducing the cost of government through implementing business process and other operational efficiencies; implementing a human capital plan that allows the city to proactively plan for, maximize, and retain our top human resources talent; implementing reputable and innovative technology initiatives that support our business processes and also encourage private development in our community; and to create and pursue opportunities for collaboration and regional partnerships that maximize our resources and also address regional issues. Our second focus area is economic vitality, stating that we will seek diverse and high-quality development that fosters local jobs through our strategic pursuit of industries, which include renewable energy, engineering, technology, aerospace, medical, manufacturing, and internet fulfillment. Business investment and sustainability will be fostered through streamlined processes, strategic marketing, developing ongoing relationships, and encouraging tourism. We have 6 goals that we've identified for economic vitality. First, streamlining the city's development services to efficiently support development in our community. Establishing a long-range planning vision that incorporates citizen and stakeholder input that provides a roadmap for our future. Prioritizing and investing in infrastructure construction that supports our economic development goals. Strategically focusing on economic development pursuits and initiatives that creates local jobs. fostering support and retention of local business through ongoing engagement and communications to ensure that our policies and priorities encourage their long-term success, and developing a comprehensive approach to encouraging tourism in Goodyear and the West Valley. Thirdly, we have sense of community. This priority area focuses on providing programs, gathering places, and events where the community can come together to participate in opportunities for learning and recreation. We will establish sustainable relationships with the community through citizen engagement, outstanding customer service, and clear, accessible communication. We have 3 goals for this strategic focus area. First, establish an enhanced higher education presence in the city. To create a connection with our neighborhoods through focused outreach, utilization of various communication methods, including social media, and focusing on outstanding customer service. The third goal is to evaluate additional community programs and events that bring our citizens together. And finally, our 4th strategic focus area is quality of life. Our purpose statement is that the city will implement programs and projects that create a clean, well-maintained, safe, and sustainable environment that provides citizens with opportunities for an engaged, healthy, and active lifestyle. Our 4 goals here are to identify public safety business process improvements and innovative programs that ensure a safe community, to support initiatives that promote healthy, quality lifestyles for our diverse citizenry, facilitate partnerships with local schools, district leadership, and youth development programs to ensure quality education opportunities for our local youth, and to enhance environmentally conscious initiatives and city codes that support a clean and well-maintained community. As I mentioned, there are many specific projects, programs, partnerships that we have identified in the full document that really are going to move us forward to achieving these goals. We did vet through all of those, and I'll go through in just one second some of the changes that I've made since the last work session. We were pretty close on March 18th, but I did want to just cover with you what I've changed since then so you note the differences. First, pursuant to our discussion on economic vitality and supporting our goal in the document associated with tourism, we added language to focus on tourism in the purpose statement. In our 5th goal under economic vitality, we added language to reflect the efforts associated with business retention. Really wanted to call that out and not just lump it in with other sustainability policies. In our sense of community goal number 2, we added a section to focus on our citizen satisfaction survey and really evaluate that methodology before we undertake that initiative again. That's pursuant to some discussion from the council that we'd like to really look and make sure that we validated that methodology. Our quality of life purpose statement now has the words well maintained in there to really support and demonstrate our continued focus on the high standards that we already have as far as just the clean look of our community. In quality of life goal 1, we had an action item that talked about performance measures for public safety that really was focused only on response times. So what we've done is we've revised that language to focus on performance measures as a whole. That included evaluation of response times and also operational efficiencies. And then lastly, we made a change to quality of life goal number 3 where we talked about continued partnerships with our local organizations. We added information in the document that reflected our current work on the Veterans Initiative that's under exploration right now. So as we move forward from plan adoption, it's important to note that we intend to use this as a living document as we inserted the action word in our title for a reason. We've also been updating all of our department strategic plans that are aligning with our 4 strategic focus areas and also the actions that are in this document. And as I mentioned, we've linked our budget development process to the priorities in this document. So as we talk next week about the expenditures, you'll see a link to those 4 strategic focus areas. We also plan to include review of this document at your annual retreat. So if you have any emerging issues that you would like staff to incorporate into the 3-year plan, we will have the flexibility to incorporate those. And then also, as you heard a little bit earlier, there will be a lot of items that come out of the general plan, the transportation master plan, and the parks master plan that we'll really want to evaluate and prioritize as those results are provided. So in summary, it's staff's recommendation that the council adopt Resolution 13-1543, adopting the 2013-2016 City Strategic Action Plan. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Would the clerk, are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Okay, would the city clerks please read the resolution by title only?
Adopt Resolution 13-1543, adopting the 2013-2016 City Strategic Action Plan.
Could I please have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Stiff and a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. Councilman Pizzillo?
Kim, thanks. I really appreciate the effort that's gone into this document. I know we've tried several times to come up with a product that was easy to read and kind of met all of our, all of our issues. And
Maybe a little difficult.
well, I think in the past, some of the products aren't as, I think, the quality that this product is. And I appreciate you also embedding some of our comments we had at the last work session. And I appreciate all the efforts. Thank you.
Councilman Stiff?
Kim, I'm going to echo those comments that this is a kind of a culmination of a lot of work, but it's a very easily used document, which is what a strategic plan is supposed to be. So I appreciate all the hard work that you and everybody on staff put in to get this done. I think this will help us as a council stay on track and not wander, and then will help staff, provide some good direction. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Any other comment? Councilman Barber?
Kim, great job. It's been such a fascinating process to watch this from the 2 half-day seminars back in November and then watching this all happen through now. So to staff and everyone, you've done a great job in incorporating all the ideas and everything into this document.
I think it's a great document. Thank you. I think it's flexible. I think it's creative, and it's got a good vision in it for us, as well as being able to complete some of those visionary ideas that we have. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Nice presentation. So we're at the point of information.
Mayor, we need a roll call vote.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I do that all the time on you, don't you? All right. Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Barber?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Osborne?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Well, thank you. Now we're at time for information items. Anybody have anything they'd like to share with the public?
Just one.
Councilman Barber?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So the last 4 days have probably been the most amazing 4 days that I've spent in the city, and I have so many people to thank. Starting on Friday was Westar Elementary School hosted the Arizona in Action Move-a-thon, and I'd like to thank Parks and Rec for hosting one of the stations, and the PD for bringing out a vehicle and spending time with the kids. It was a great event. Over 700 kids participated, and it's, when you work that hard and you see all those smiling faces, it's completely worth it. So thank you to everyone who helped. And then Saturday was the Health and Safety Expo at the Goodyear Ballpark. I have never been part of an event that was as big as that, with so many resources. Card checks, the bike rodeo, rollover Randy, and the extrication demo, and all the vendors that we had, and Tanya Tanner, PJ Miller, PD, Fire, the city. I mean, what an incredible event, and to be able to provide that to our citizens. And a personal thank you to the mayor. I just thought it was fantastic that not only did you come out, but you went to every single vendor and thanked them personally. And I think that speaks volumes about our city and about how you are as a mayor. And I just personally thank you very much for doing that. Sherry, thank you for coming out. And then Saturday night was a Homeless Youth Connection dinner, and that was fun. It was really great. I really enjoyed it. And, sometimes you can live in your shell and not realize some of the hardships other people go through. And it really opened my eyes that night. And thank you very much for providing that in our community.
Any other? Sherry?
Well, I attended two of the events that Jen did, the Arizona in Action Health Fair and Bike Rodeo, and she did a fabulous job as long as the whole city did with her. So it was great, and it was lots of resources out there. And I was just amazed at how many people showed up with the resources and everything that were there. And I liked Rollover Randy. I thought he was a ride person. The Homeless Youth Connection, I know Joanne is very involved in that, and that was just absolutely wonderful, and I got really motivated. I'd like to do more with that. And then I attended the MAG domestic violence meeting, which was very poignant this week with some of the tragedies that we've had. And I asked the chief if we were going to do a fatality review, and he said there is actually a West Valley fatality review, which MAG is currently redoing some of its protocols right now for statewide, and they're actually trying to get them statewide on domestic violence, and there's some great opportunities there and resources. And some of the fatality reviews, once we get started, I would love to get a presentation on that for the council once we do get that gets up and rolling, because I think it really does. What they do is they look at cases when they're done to see where things were missed and how we can do better as a community, because a lot of this has to happen before law enforcement gets involved. So it was just very poignant. So thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Well, I just wanted to thank the West Valley citizens and businesses that were involved with the Homeless Youth Connection Key to Hope dinner and auction, because it really was a fabulous event. And this was our second year. And, you know, it really is amazing. Homeless youth is not something new, but it's something that most people just don't realize is occurring. And part of it's the kids themselves. They don't want people to know that they're homeless. They just want to be a teen that fits in. And so, you know, I really like to say that this truly is, for this situation, this is when the village needs to raise the child. And so I really do appreciate everybody that attended and everyone that has really helped move this foundation forward.
Thank you. Councilman Stipp?
2 weeks ago, I attended the AMWA, the Arizona Municipal Water Users Association meeting. We talked about it very briefly last week during the work session regarding the cost that we could potentially see. Mark Holmes, you know, again, a great representative for us on all the water issues, but the discussion that we had was regarding the cost of CAP water and the effect of the Navajo generating facility, in addition to all of the other costs that are associated with it. The one major takeaway that I had with that is we have to be prepared for water rates to go up. And we don't know how much, we don't know when, but it's inevitable as the cost of water comes through. So there'll be more information, I'm sure, coming through. I think we've got a presentation in a couple of weeks from the water folks. I'm sure we'll hear about it there. But
Well, I think what comes out of your comments, and thank you very much for enlightening the public, is conservation, water conservation. And I have to say, I think we're all a little bit careless when you turn that faucet on and the things we do. And we're all going to have to get realistic so that we'll have water that we can drink. So you're right, and I appreciate you sitting on that committee. Any other comments? I just want to shout out to you, Joanne. Yeah, great event. And I'm just amazed every time I go to these events how generous the public is on the bidding. And I'm not sure what the total figure they walked away, but Ron was adding it up at the table, and it was getting pretty high. So, you know, when there's need, people come to the table in Goodyear. And actually, there were people represented throughout the West Valley at this, so it wasn't just our city. So it's just really a really genuine people were there, and they had a young student that spoke and told about his circumstances. Pardon me? And sang, yes. And what the homeless youth has done for him and his family's circumstances, and it made it all come really to life. So you felt that your money was being used and very resourceful. So I really appreciate that. Okay, City Manager, do you have anything for us?
Thank you. One follow-up item. Obviously, we had some from the work session, which will be integrated into future budget presentations. But the one item was on the domestic violence for the West Valley. When we get those figures, we certainly will share those with council, so thank you. And I do want to just bring up a couple of things that weren't talked about this weekend. It was a busy weekend. One is as you know, we started a partnership with our Southwest Valley cities on household hazardous waste. So we had one this past Saturday, and that was held in Avondale. We had 110 participants, of which 43 were from Goodyear, so pretty good turnout of our citizens. Tolleson and Avondale, the other two areas where they had residents show up. And 2,600 pounds of e-waste, and the other is we'll have more information. We like to see how successful these are. Do we have them often enough? So we'll compare this with what we had in our event a few months back. The other thing is I want to point out we had Little League opening day ceremonies, and that was held at the Goodyear Community Park. 44 teams, 528 players, all part of this. So it was a big event for the little guys. And those of us who used to play Little League years ago, that is a huge, huge day in our lives. So those kids were very excited. And a lot of sponsors were there, vendors, etc. We did have silent auction. That was part of the event as well, just to raise money for their efforts. Newly installed scoreboard, and that was on display. And 6 games were actually held following the ceremonies to kick off the season. So estimated attendance, about 1,200 people. So big event at the community park that day. So with that, Mayor, members of the council, I have nothing else to report unless you have other questions.
Thank you. Anybody else on the dais? All right. I just want to announce the next meeting will be a work session on April 15th at 5 o'clock. Meeting adjourned.